We're joined now by District 6 candidate Kevin Ryan. Kevin, thank you for joining us here.
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, it's good to see you here.
Well,
and you're no stranger to this race. You're no stranger to running for the District 6 seat on Anoka County Board.
Correct.
And why keep running? Why run this year when there is an opportunity? It's an open seat. And is that a difference maker for you to run this year for this?
Well, it gives another opportunity to drive home the issues of the county. Especially the issues of 6th District.
Like what? What is the biggest issue you think right now for the 6th District in the scope of the county board and as the county as a whole?
Well, you can watch the shoulders of the roads deteriorate. The cost of fixing the shoulder versus replacing the whole road. The people of the 6th District have to continually repair their vehicles while the roads are deteriorating. So just the core cost of the road itself, you know, that's one thing. But all the lateral fees and costs related to the road going south is typical of the 6th District. I mean, we've got a general pattern of the county's expenditures, and they don't spend money in the 6th District.
You see it as a disparity among districts, among the 7 districts in the county in terms of where the priority is for spending on infrastructure and other needs like that?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. You can tell that it isn't a bottom line issue. This is a priority issue. The people of the 6th District are far enough away, removed from the county's purview, that they really can be dismissed. The county road and the quality of the county road really isn't in their rear view mirror, so to speak. You know, they don't seem to have any trouble fixing all the other roads in the county. And, you know, when it comes down to the actual process of letting the maintenance go, we've been down this road before. This is old news for Anoka County. So early 60s, they allowed the ideal of the budget dominating the road repair to basically circumvent all of the road repairs, and it took almost the complete 80s and much into the 90s to recover from and update our road systems. So this is something that Anoka County is suffering from as a whole. Not just does the 6th District take the brunt of it.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Let's talk about the 6th District. You you live in and have lived for, I don't know, your whole life or at least a very long time in an area of the county and in an area of the 6th District, the northernmost, I think, area, Linwood Township, is that correct? Or Stacy? Is that right?
Township, yep.
And that area maybe not as represented on county politics or in the county picture for some of these services or some of these voices being heard, not maybe as represented as others, or am I wrong about that?
Well, you know, Linwood's unique, and I've been there since I was 2. Okay. And most of the roads were dirt back then. And as the roads were getting tarred, people would say, we moved out of the cities. We didn't come here to Linwood by accident. This, you know, we like it just the way it is. Those are comments that, you know, when you say they don't get services, well, when I grew up, I noticed that, say like the simple things, the garbage can at the county, you know, we're at the county park. They had the garbage can tied up to a stake because it wouldn't stand on its own. Then it would get full of garbage, and they'd only empty it once a month. And then the emptying of the garbage would be overflowed all over, all right?
Okay.
So we'd be sitting down there at the park when the garbage man came to pick up the garbage, and he'd dump the can, and he'd set the can back up and tie it, wire it back up to the post. And we'd say, whoa, 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 wait a minute, we'll fill this garbage can back up to you, you can empty it again. He's like, they don't give me enough time to empty the garbage the way it is. I have to pretty much be AWOL to come up here to empty the garbage, so I don't have time to wait for you guys to fill the garbage back up. So before he even got to the top of the hill at the park, the garbage can was full again.
Yeah.
So that was normal.
Okay.
That's, you know, Lake George, when they got done carving on the picnic tables, that's the ones that were at Island Lake Park.
I see what you're saying.
It wasn't missed on the community. You know, those are the things that you can remember. Having that be said, I don't remember anyone clamoring around saying, geez, I wish the county would come out and spend more time with us.
Okay.
You know?
Right.
But those were the things that I noticed was growing up there.
So what about that experience, or what about any other experience in your life, in any aspect of your life, do you think would help you bring something to the table as a county commissioner representing that and representing all of District 6, which is Lino Lake, Centerville, all those other areas that may not have the same experience or may not identify that way? What about that helps you become a county commissioner?
Well, okay, so the actual being that I lived there my whole life is a little like the line of, I've also participated in the county my whole life. I've sat on the 2020 study. I did the things as asked by the past commissioners. These are things that, you know, along with the fact that I'm an arborist and that I work on the actual jobs of the county and making that the, you know, hallmark of my purview, is that about a third of the county's decisions go past that. Right. So having the expertise and the experience, job site, standing there looking, how much does a dump truck haul? You know, how long does it take them to get from XYZ back here to the job site? Those are the things that are going to manage the county's bottom line. You know, having a well-rounded board, having a kind of specialized group of people that could make good decisions, one's informed decisions. Right. Yeah. Having all the same type of bureaucrats that haven't had any of the on-job experiences leave us where we're at now, where we're kind of struggling on the technical end when we purchase services. And we basically purchase services on behalf of the taxpayers. So being a little frugal, or being able to figure out how to make it work inside the budget that we have, and not constantly going back to the well and asking the taxpayers to foot the bill. Those are the, you know, take care of the road. Don't let it go, you know, when we build a new road, build it for these people here today, not people that aren't here yet, that are 20 years back. You know, those are the things that'll make the county function and allow us to put things back to the community. I mean, it doesn't sound like a big deal that the picnic tables are all carved up, or that the garbage can is left to be, you know, unattended. Things that have been kind of addressed nowadays, but that general theory that you can leave something go and get a net gain, save any kind of money, is kind of not true. It's easier to keep it clean than it is to get it clean.
Could you imagine, or could you maybe even, strong word, presume that there are other areas of the county that have the same experience, maybe on the other side of the county in the northwestern reaches, up above, say, like Nowthen and places like that, perhaps have the same experience and perhaps are looking for the same kind of difference making? Well,
you know, and the way they drew the districts was kind of self-evident that they'd like to stop hearing from those people. I mean, they want to tie you in with the concerns of the core county, which all need to be addressed. I mean, when we come down to equity, it means that, you know, we pool our resources together as we pay our property taxes, and we address these issues as a group. But to constantly leave a group out of those basic benefits, you know, services of the roads and such, those are, you know, not a net gain. It doesn't make for a solid or a cohesive group. So even though it might only be, you know, half a dozen people up in Nowthen, that road, if we went and spent a little bit on it and put it back together, at least for what it is, you know, fill the potholes, shoulder the road, and recapture what's there, the people that are driving that road will be more than happy. It's when you let it go and then you have to rebuild the whole road, and then all these great ideas about, well, we should build this road for someone that's 20 years out, that the people aren't here yet. You know, it's kind of one of those little vicious cycles that we know better than to be involved in. You know.
Okay. Here's a couple of things I've heard from at least two people. Is that they encountered Kevin Ryan on foot, walked up to them, started talking to them, struck up a conversation with them. Is that a typical interaction you have had over the years with people? For one reason or another, I don't.
Exactly describes who I am.
It sounds like your brand of politics.
Yes.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, that's exactly.
Why does that work for you, and what does that help you as a politician accomplish?
Well, okay. Politician is a little bit of a starchy
Well,
word.
I say that because you've run several times for an elected office.
I understand that.
Okay.
We are not lawmakers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I always consider politicians of party.
Okay.
All right.
I got you.
All right. And commissioners are a policy-making group. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to develop good policy, you got to talk to the people who your policy speaks to. It has to be a free policy. You can't force people to do things. And if you look in history, history has civilizations littered in the abyss from slave systems. When the people feel that they own it, they'll take care of it. Stewardship. So when you get to that, if you haven't spoke to the people, you have no policy. Mm-hmm. If you don't take the time to engage, you really don't have the purview to speak in their behalf whatsoever. And it isn't when things are going good. These are needed when things are not going good. So, you know, anyone can do it when the sun's shining. That's,
right.
You know,
right.
It's, can you do it with the rain running
Sure.
on the back of your neck?
Sure. Okay. When we spoke on the phone previously and coordinating this visit and all that stuff, you mentioned a couple of times a big picture topic and something that the county and all counties and all governments have to deal with, unfunded mandates coming down from the state or even perhaps from the federal government. You see that as a problem for Anoka County because it's trying to accomplish all the things that you've already mentioned and more. But then through the course of government, there's unfunded mandates that come down. You talk about that. Is that something that you are also talking to people about, or are people telling you they're sick of having to deal with that? Or do you have an insight into how that works?
Okay, so basically when I first ran, I looked around the county and it was a gerrymandered district that I had everyone just pretty much throwing things off their porch at me, telling me, hey, this ain't gonna fly. Mm-hmm. And when I told them I'd do the run, which I was happy to do, the first thing I did was my due diligence. And a nonpartisan board, right, distributing your shelter, places of, you know, harboring your family and your loved ones, being bullied around by the lawmakers openly, boastfully. Every governor since when?
Right.
Has come out and said, well, they'll change their funding structure and burden your property taxes.
Right.
Well, we don't tax food. We don't tax clothing. So why does lawmakers, politicians, think they can come down to the county level and burden your shelter, places where you live? And like I mentioned about, you know, when the sun's shining, when everything's going good, you don't notice. But if you have to pare your budget down, you know,
right.
live within your means, and you have lawmakers that feel free to pass, and both parties, you know, we don't have one party or the other doing this. They just take turns burdening the locals.
Okay.
And this goes all the way across the state.
Right. It's not Anoka County only. I
No.
realize that.
And you got to remember,
Right.
you know, like we'd be wrong to not point out that Anoka County has many to share the burden. There are counties all around the rural areas of the state that are burdened with the same mandates that don't have the tax base to spread out the fees.
Right.
So really I'm looking to make sure that everyone understands is that you're being taxed and you're not being represented.
Okay.
And, you know, your family, I would say probably your grandpa or your father would have been the generation that brought us the nonpartisan, you know?
Right.
And that was through a wise, well-informed decision. And you got other places in the country that doesn't do this. This is unique. And our courts have basically laid it wide open and left us unrepresented as far as the nonpartisan. What does it mean? You know, no mandate, but what does nonpartisan mean? How does it get in, regulated?
Right.
So basically the voters have to regulate this nonpartisan status.
I see what you're saying.
And we have to reject
I got you.
the parties when they show up at our school boards or our town boards or our county commissioner's office, and we need to just say flat out, regardless if they're your party or not, no, thank you. Get the guy down the street who just shows up before we'll take anyone from party. And this is the biggest part of the whole county issue, is that we constantly seem to think that we owe something one party or another. And this county, third largest or fourth largest, I think we got, 2,000 employees. We've got a $300 million budget. Basically they should be kind of a little bit of a notice that when it comes to the population of the state, they better be just as wise to the fact that they, the lawmakers, the politicians, just do their own purview. They're going to pass a law, they put a little money behind it. And we're, the law itself, the mandate itself, they're not sinister. I'm not out there saying they don't have good meaning. I'm saying it's inappropriate to burden them houses with the mandates coming from party. This is a nonpartisan state.
Okay. We're going to have to leave it at that.
Oh.
I appreciate it, though. I thank you for coming, Kevin. Right?
Thank
It's good
you.
to see you.
Appreciate
All
it.
right. Thank you.